Spiral Abyss 3.0 is finally here, guys. Now I don't know if you've already tried out the Abyss and tried to get your 36 star to get the 600 Primo Gems rewards as usual, but today we'll have an in-depth guide in terms of helping you to clear floor 11 and floor 12, so that if you're still having trouble with clearing the floors, you will finally get your 600 Primo Gems reward this Abyss. Now before we hop into the specific guides, I want to first start off with noting the specific rule here that will run throughout this videos is that the teams I'll be using in this video will be mostly free to play. I will only be using one 5-star character in each of the team. I will not be going through specific builds of each character. You can check out other specific build on each of these characters in other videos. Now normally in order to 36 star the Abyss and clearing floor 12 specifically, you really want to invest into your characters, like really invest into them. Even for support or sub DPS character, you want to invest as if you're building a DPS character, because especially for free to play players, since you already don't really have too much character on your account, every of your investment should be the best onto the character that you will be using. Now guys, Venti and Kazuha is not required to be used. However, these two characters, if you have them, will help you tremendously, especially in floor 12. So if you do have them, be sure to use them. And then finally, Dendrolumine is going to be pretty much mandatory and going to be appearing in your teams across this Abyss. So if you want her to help you have an easier time in this Abyss, then make sure to invest in her very well. And that should basically be everything before we move into the specific guides. And so with that guys, let's just hop into that. I will be using the same team for floor 11 and floor 12 guys. And on the first team slot here, we will be running a Quicken with Anemo support, in which we will be having our Dendro main character, Fischl, Kukishinobu, and Kazuha. As you've known, Fischl would probably be one of the best electro support right now with reaction to Dendro, and Kukishinobu here will be having for a little bit of sub DPS damage plus healing for the team, and Kazuha will probably one of the most important character on the team, because you will see he will be doing a lot of crowd control throughout this Abyss. Now if you don't actually have Kukishinobu or Kazuha, we can actually switch in Jin and Beidou. These two characters can still work on this team pretty well. However, without crowd control from Kazuha, it will be a little bit tougher for you to clear the floor wall. And then on the second team, we'll have National Raiden. I can be 100% sure that you already have Xingqiu, Bennett, and Xiangling. As for Raiden Shogun, I would say that 80% of us should already have her right now. If you don't have her on your account, I'm not really sure why, because she already have her rerun, plus she is one of the best characters right now in the game, especially for free-to-play player. So if you don't have Raiden Shogun, you probably already have another hyper carry team that you can run in this Abyss, but for this video we will be maining National Raiden. So first off, on the first chamber, it's not really too hard. You're going to be defending our small tower here as usual. Now the most important thing is just going to be having Kazuha crowd controlling all of these guys, and then you set up Dendrolumine as well as Fischl's and Kukishinobu with Kazuha swirling Electro. These guys aren't really too tanky, so you should be able to take them out pretty easily, especially with Quicken and Aggravate as well as Spread reaction. We also already have Kazuha to buff a lot of our Electro damage on Fischl and Kukishinobu, so you should be able to do pretty well when running this team. Once again guys, you do want to invest a lot into our Fischl, Kukishinobu, as well as our Dendro main character, so that they help you with a lot of off-field damage as well as reaction damage. Onto our Raiden team, it should be quite similar to our first half. If you're already running Raiden National, you should be able to clear this second half very easily. Moving on to the second chamber, it's going to be slightly trickier as you don't have a shield, so you have to rely a lot on Shinobu's healing, dodging and iframing with bursts to not get hit by these hydro enemies, because as you may have known from past experiences, they do hit pretty hard. Now Kazuha here will swirl hydro most of the time with his burst, so don't beat yourself up if you're not able to swirl electro in his burst. But since we have our Dendro Lumine here, it's not going to be too bad because you will still have our Dendro Core drop from Bloom, helping you dealing more Dendro damage. And then after that, you constantly try to crowd control with Kazuha and then have your team take out your enemies with bursts and their skills. Do remember and try and keep Shinobu alive because her E skills drain a lot of HP from her. For the second half, there's only going to be two rather weak bishops. I would say you can actually run straight up through them and near to the wall, so they both follow you there. But since they're not that tanky as we are in floor 11, you can just run straight up to either of them and the other should follow you to that spot. And then from there, you can just set up your Raiden team and then our Raiden Shogun will just take care of them very fast. Onto the first chamber, the main goal here once again is to have Kazuha crowd control, and then you have his burst swirl electro if possible. After that, you have your team continue to annihilate them. After the first 3, there will be another 3 more enemies spawning on the other side, and then the strategy is gonna be the same. For the second half, we'll meet up with our new Electro Regisvines. If you fought it before, you should know the drill. In that first, it will have its Electro Core up on its eyes, so without proper bow character, it will be a little bit hard to hit. However, we'll just still set up our Raiden team as usual and have us continue hitting it. After a bit of time, the core should move down to its feet and then we can destroy it and should be able to take it out in one rotation of our national Raiden team. Now, we move on to the fun part. I will be switching up the team a little bit in that our first half is going to be our Raiden National and then second is going to be our Dendro main character team. For the first chamber first half, you will first run straight up to the first 2 of this Ruin Guard and then work on yourself to take them out as soon as possible. Because they wouldn't really be doing too much to you and they're just going to be standing there, both of them, for you to have our Raiden National team hit them until they die. However, for the third one, which is going to be our Ruined Dragon, we will try to take this one out as soon as possible before it actually flies up into the air and drops missile onto your head. Because if it does, you will have to basically reset the run because there won't be much that you can do to try and take it down. Now it's not very tanky, so generally you should be able to take it out in 1 or most likely 2 rotation of Raiden's burst. After that, we'll be able to continue to second half. Now you will start off with Fisher's burst to move forward to the 3 enemies in front of you, and then right after that you switch to Kazuha to use his E skilled hold for crowd control. Then afterward you set up the burst for everyone. Now the reason why Kazuha is pretty important here is because he's very good with crowd controlling these guys. The goal is for you to position yourself in a way that Kazuha sucks every enemies together within the AoE of Dendro MC and Fischl, as that will be the fastest way to take them out. Otherwise, they will be scattering around the field, which is going to take you a very long time to actually take them out. And once you finish off with all of these guys, the other 3 enemies will start to spawn. Now what you want to do is head straight to the Electro for 2E and try to take him out first, because we're running an Electro team. It will be tough to take him out once he has his Electro shield up. And then after that, you continue to crowd control all of them together, because the Pyro for 2E always want to stay far from us. If you're able to do all of this right, you should be able to take out these enemies very fast. After this, we're able to continue to chamber 2. Now, for ease of play guys, you want to restart the floor every time you finish to try and have everyone's burst on your team be ready before you start the floor. Otherwise, you will lose quite a lot of time to try and get it back for perfect rotation. Once the chamber starts, you can either run toward the Hydro Mage, which is in front of you, or the Electro Mage first, which is behind. However, I recommend you to go for the Electro Mage first, because she's Electro, which have resistance against our Raiden Shogun. You try to take her out as soon as possible, and then afterward move on to the Hydro Mage and then deal with the rest of them. The goal here is going to be trying to beat this first half within 1 minute and 30 seconds max, so that you can have time to move on to the second floor and start dealing with the Geo Bishop straight away. Now fighting him is basically straightforward. You will probably already know how to fight this guy, because we've been through quite a lot of his battle before. So what you just want to do is to dodge its attack and then have everyone burst and skill up as much as possible and try to take it out as fast as you can. Once you're able to do that, we then move on to the third chamber, which you will first run straight up to the bishop and set everything up, because the other two bishop behind us will start to chase us down, while the large one will tend to stay far away from us. Now you must do everything you can to push the large bishop all the way to the wall. That way, if it gets staggered, you will still be able to continue your combo, which is pretty easy because they do stagger quite a lot, pushing it back to the wall water very easily. Now having it right next to the wall and the other 2 Bishop will still follow near you, and then Raiden's AoE should be able to hit at least 2 of them. And if you're lucky with crowd control, all 3 of the Bishop should be in range of Raiden Shoguns. And then you will want to constantly spam this until you're able to take them out. Now first half of Chamber 3 might most likely to be the trickiest part of this abyss, because you have to deal with 3 Bishop, which can be annoying because first of all they are super tanky. Secondly, they stagger a lot, so they do move away from you as we are running an overload team. And then thirdly, if you do get hit by the blast of these enemies, you lose energy, so try to dodge them as much as you can, because energy means that you're lacking in rotations, costing you quite a lot of time. The goal here is to try and take them out by the 9-minute mark, because right after, surprise, another 3 enemies are going to show up. They're quite easy to take out and not tanky at all, so do your best to take them out as fast as you can. The goal here is to try and finish this first half at 1 minute 30 second max, because you will need quite a lot of time for our Dendro chicken as well. Now this guy is not too tanky, so do your best to set up everyone's burst and constantly zoning in and attack it. As long as you keep on attacking it, it should be able to not do too much to you and just stand in one place. So keep up the pressure as much as you can, have everyone's burst up all the time, and you will be able to take it out rather easily. And then afterward, if you're able to do everything we've discussed here in this video, as well as very invested into your character's damage, 36 star Abyss and our 600 Primo Gems should be yours. So guys, I hope that this video have been able to help you out quite a lot. If you do have any question, be sure to comment down below and I will get to you there. Plus, if you are still having trouble with clearing the Abyss, I usually do account review on my Twitch stream, so do follow me on Twitch and hang out there as well. As always guys, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe as to not miss out on my future videos. With that guys, I wish you a super day and I will catch you on my next video.